Unfortunately, I have to start today's video on a bit of a sad note. Our £3,500 Leon Cupra K1 project has finally come to an end. It's been on quite the journey since we bought it back at the beginning of the year, undergoing our extensive reverse modification process, overcoming catastrophic engine problems, as well as numerous cosmetic issues. She's come out the other side faster, louder, and better looking than ever. At the end of a journey, the plan all along was to pit it against our Focus RS for a 400 horsepower plus battle to see which car was the best bang for buck, but the Focus has had some other ideas, some serious setbacks, and sadly she won't be finished in time. But that gave me a better idea. But I'm not going to look at any Leons until I've had something to eat. So let's see what we've got today from HelloFresh. If you're like me and you're always struggling to decide what to have for your evening meal, today's sponsors HelloFresh have got you covered. If there's one thing I hate, it's wasting food, and these meals come perfectly measured. These meals are so simple and quick to do, even my missus, who's not the most confident in the kitchen, has no problem. There are loads of different recipes and meals to choose from. Everything looks absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait to try this. So what are you waiting for? Make sure you hit the link in the description box below and use code EvilGT60 for a whopping 60% off your first box, and then get another 25% off your next 8 boxes. What are you waiting for? Go and get it. I'm going to go and sort this Leon. I want to know how much faster a track car is than a road car on a circuit. So I'm going to be doing a lap in this and in this to see how much faster, if at all, this is. But first, Scott, whose car this is coming down to give it a once over on the lift. And in true Evil GT style, it looks like we've fallen at the first hurdle. Tell me that wheel's loose, Scott, please.
No, I had an accident last time I was out in the car.
Crash Bandicoot? What is it? What is it, do you reckon, that's broke?
It's just a chocolate end by the looks of it.
Well, hopefully that's the extent of the damage. A 20 quid fix and we can get this car ready for the track. So it's off with the wheel to gain access to the track rod end, and it's really important to count the amount of turns taking that off. Over to you. Scott put this back on, remembering the amount of turns he took it off with, and that's only important if it was right in the first place, which Scott believes this was. Just the one bolt at the bottom, tighten it up with a buzz gun, wheel back on, we should be good. So that was a pretty cheap fix. Now there is a bit of damage on the underside of the car because Scott's got a habit of crashing. Hopefully we can get that fixed and it'll be ready for the track. It's the day of the track day. Sorry if it's dark, it's still really early. I don't know if you can hear, but it's raining and it looks like we've got torrential rain all day. But I am not going to let this weather dampen our spirits, although it's dampening the lens. I'll try and make this brief so that the lens doesn't get any worse, but it's been called off. So I put my name down for tomorrow. I'm coming on Saturday insteed. I'm going to go and get breakfast. It's Saturday. Let's try again, eh? The curb assassin's not working today, so I've invited him along as well. Uncle Albert!
Wanting some chat?
That beard's getting bigger. Seems chirpy in the morning, doesn't he? This looks a lot more promising than it did yesterday. I'd say it's very damp, but at least it stopped raining. There's a bit of a queue for sighting laps and it's pretty wet out there still. I don't know whether to just hang on for an hour or two, go and get myself a brew in the hope that it dries out a bit. A friend of the channel, CJ, a subscriber's come along as well anyway. He's just said that there is a line drying out now, so I'm going to take the Cupra out and see how we get on. Now, I don't know the names of the corners on here, but I do know that there's a few underneath the trees at the very back. And I think it's Druids or something, I don't know. Lee'll tell you, he knows the names of these corners, but there's a few under the trees and it's always slippy there, especially when it's wet. So even though there is a dry line marking out now around the track, that is one place I especially need to be careful. For those who've bought tickets for the Cupra yet, don't panic, I'm not going to push me or the car to its limits at all. For those who haven't bought tickets yet, head over to levelupgiveaways.co.uk. The tickets are 99p each and the competition finishes on Tuesday the 24th of October at 10 PM. Live draw is on Level Up Giveaways Facebook page. Good luck!
Oh, red flag! Red flag just as we're getting heated! God's sake!
As I told you guys at the start of this video, the idea was to take the Cupra Roadcar and the Cupra Racecar and see what the differences were, or if there was any differences on Oulton Park. Obviously there was going to be a lot. Unfortunately, Scott's not answering his phone, he's not here with the car. There's nothing I can do because the race car's not here. So I'm wondering whether it would be an opportunity to get the mighty B7 out, especially whilst it's a bit damp on 4Ss. That thing's a beast.
Should we try again or what?
Yeah, round 2 I say.
It's always funny when you watch track footage back. It feels so much faster when you're in the car than it does on a screen.
Yeah.
For those seasoned veterans of Oulton Park, you can see I'm clearly braking way too soon for turn 1, but the conditions are so greasy and I absolutely do not want to risk coming off track.
Go on, girl. Yeah, she is.
I'm really doing my best to try and moderate the throttle coming out of these bends. It just wants to light them front wheels up. Once it hooks up though, there's absolutely nothing on that track coming past me. This thing is properly quick. Chasing this little RS200 down now, and I know he's not pushing because these Clios are epic round this track. We had one, it was brilliant. Coming round this sweeping bend now, he's staying right. I could go round on the left hand side at this point, but it's so greasy out there. The dry line is on the inside. I didn't want to risk it. I thought I'll wait till we're through the chicane and I'll pass him up the bank. This next chicane catches a lot of people out, hence the runoff straight ahead. As you're coming down the bank, you think that it's like, oh, I've got plenty of room to brake and slow myself down, but because you're coming downhill, and obviously you are going pretty quick, it comes up way faster than you think, and a lot of people miss the turning. I was taking it very steady, and I made it just fine. I just lift off the throttle coming over the brow here because it breaks traction as soon as the weight transfers off the front wheels to the next bit, which causes a lot of accidents. Loads of people end up in the gravel over the far side. This is a double apex. You want to turn in really early.
Feel that.
Yeah.
Definitely feel that.
But you need to stay wide because it's so slippy. It's quite unnerving. Just like the rest of the lap though, I'm not trying to break any records and I got through this bit absolutely fine.
One thing I've just got to point out, who comes to a track day in a GT3 RS and then doesn't go on? That might be Serious Simon. They've all got nicknames. What I am actually going to do though is take the B7 out because Scott with the Mark II Leon race car that was originally planned for this video, I apologise, he still isn't returning any of my phone calls or here, so there's nothing I can do about that. So instead, I'm going to take the Old Faithful out and give her a bit of a razz. It has just reopened after lunch. One lap was done, then it was red flagged. Then the red flag went off, there was another lap done, then it was red flag. So they're literally just going back out now. So I'm going to go and attempt to get the B7 out. Got a bit of warming up to do. This was that was a proper cold start then. So yeah, we'll take it steady. We'll get some temperature in.
You don't need a running commentary for this one. Just listen to her sing.
Girl.
Come on. Yes.
171,000 miles, and it goes and absolutely rips round a track. Although Siddy didn't want to take his GT3 RS out, Mark will take his Lotus out. Now we're talking. You looking forward to it?
Just waiting for a bit of rain and then we'll be right.
You got to follow me around in the Cupra?
Yes.
Okay, let's have fun.
You set the pace.
I was hoping for so much more footage on this track day, but I've had a nightmare. 3 cameras have not played ball, so I do apologise. Now that the conditions had dried up, it was perfect for the Cupra. Still had to manage the power out of the corners, but it was miles better. It was really, really good fun. After Mark followed me around for a few laps, I let him through so he could plough on. And he come very close to losing it on the last corner. Great save.
What an absolute riot that was. That was great fun. I don't know whether my tuition was right, but it's roughly where I go on the track, and yeah, we had some fun then. I'm well out of breath, I was getting hot. I think it's just because of the giggling, like a little kid. But that car is so good. It's like, it just feels super balanced and dead flat. But then still, it's still comfortable. It doesn't feel like it's shaking the bones out. It's mint, so good. But I just apologise that I've not got the Leon Racecar here for you all. That's a bit of a bummer. Hold on, it started to spit. That's probably a sign that we need to go home. It's literally started to spit. I'm not too sure what time it is. It's definitely getting on in the afternoon now. If you haven't already, if you don't know, then this car is up for raffle. levelupgiveaways.co.uk. Go and get your tickets. They're 99p a ticket. It helps the channel massively. This car we've spent well over 20 grand on, and it's mega. You've seen on the track it's absolutely mega. So if you can afford it, go and get yourself a 99p ticket. Yeah, I'll catch you on the next video. Oh, and subscribe if you haven't already. Ta-ra.